You never know where the old guitars are gonna show up. They might show up in an estate sale or in the back window of a car. They might show up in a flea market. It creates a lot of treasure hunters out there, and I definitely get it. When it comes to the vintage guitar world, the Korina guitars are the most valuable you can find. They are the holy grails. I'm Matt Kaler from Gibson Guitars, lifelong vintage guitar junkie, and I'm excited to talk to you about the Gibson Custom Shop Collector's Edition Korina Flying V and Explorer. So the mystique behind these Korina guitars began with Ted McCarty, Gibson's president, wanting to modernize their range of products, and they were innovating a lot. I mean, clearly they had developed the humbucking pickup, they had developed all these beautiful shapes like the ES335, and they didn't really have anything that was solid body that was radically new since the Les Paul debuted in 1952. So they really wanted to push the limit, and really have kind of a shock and awe campaign when they showed up at the NAMM show in 1958. They only shipped 19 Explorers in 1958 and 81 Flying Vs. But they took hold later on and a whole new part of the story developed. One of the first on the scene with the Korina guitars was Lonnie Mack with his Flying V in 1958. And he popularized the Flying V before anybody else that I know. But it wasn't until you see Dave Davies with the Kinks in the mid-60s and he's playing it like this with his arm like this. And then Albert King comes on the scene and he's got this incredible Flying V, Lucy. So beyond just the fact that they're rare, they're valuable because of the artists who played them. For Gibson to make a reissue these days, we have really high standards and we want to make them undeniable. So starting in 2019, we started to apply that same idea to all of our historic reissue instruments, and we did that by 3D scanning original examples.
So once we locate one, we have to go scan it. We collect that scan, bring that data back here, and clean up any anomalies that are in it. And then you start constructing a blueprint from that. This is a scan of the case of one of the original Vs that we scanned. They're harder to find than the guitars are. When we go to recreate the instrument, we can carry that on into recreating the case as well. So everything from the outside to the inside is exactly the way that it would have been in '58.
So it wasn't an approximation. We wanted to have concrete data from the contours of the neck to the geometry of the body and the precise shape of the pick guard, the hinges on the case itself, getting the exact right font on the headstock. They're scary good. Most importantly, they're great instruments. The fact that they're made out of Korina, this kind of unique African wood, has a profound impact on the sound and the tone and the soul of the instrument. It sounds like singing.
They're in with both feet on this project. So I was thrilled when they said that the Korinas were going to come through the lab also.
We really feel like the introduction of the Murphy Lab allowed us to push the limit of historical accuracy and specifically the vintage ownership experience.
We have an exclusive finish that's applied to all Murphy Lab guitars. That's the cornerstone of the aging. But we also like how it responds to our aging. When we want to peel off wear, rub it off, it's exactly like doing it to an old guitar. It is a second chance at having an instrument that feels, looks, and performs like the originals. It's really cool to be part of it.
In my entire career, I've never participated in something that is so deeply satisfying as recreating these Korina guitars how they were supposed to be recreated. This was a 2-year endeavor, and we invested a lot of time and energy into making them completely undeniable. There's a unique sound to these guitars, and there's a story behind them that we really wanted to share with the world.